I personally think what's going to happen is going to be very similar to what happened in 86. They've made these changes once before, and it had the complete opposite effect to what they were predicting. They removed negative gearing, and then all of a sudden investors went, well, we're going to stop building. So supply of new property dropped close to zero. Existing landlords went, well, I'm going to start increasing my rents. And a lot of people will be like, oh, well, then I'll just move somewhere else. That's all well and good until everybody starts increasing their rents. There's nothing new coming, so you've got to live somewhere. Some investors will panic and sell, in which case an owner-occupier will buy it. So, well, there's one less rental property there. And when they did in 86, the rents jumped by 33% in 6 months. So if that happens, it's going to be Armageddon again. And the real estate selling market jumped by 20% in 9 months. It was one of the most explosive growths we've seen in Australian real estate history.
So welcome to the first episode of Vision Boards. I'm just going to quickly mention about how this idea came up. I generally talk with my guests as well always. It's like the best ideas, best in inventions are coming with the big problems. So when people trying to find a solution to that problem, they come up with the good ideas. Podcast is not the first time. It's been invented years ago. People doing it. Mine has started as because of my industry, because of what I'm doing. Naturally, it's people asking questions, people calling me. But I've been keep answering the same question. So, and I come up with an idea. It's I'm just going to record myself, explain what is the differences between a DA and a CDC, for example. And then that idea improved. And I said, I'm going to call someone actually professional on that industry so they can actually give us the professional side of it. And then that turned into a podcast. That's why we are here. Hopefully, in the next episodes, we're going to have really good guests like this gentleman here, and then we're going to get a good conversations and get some answers. People constantly are looking for that answers. We're going to find some solutions for that problems as well. So welcome, Rhys.
Thank you very much.
Before I ask him to introduce himself, I know Rhys for years, and we work together as well. It's all started as a professional level, and then we become a really good friends as well. I just wanted to ask you, can you just basically tell me, who are you?
Yeah, okay. So obviously my name is Rhys Reid. I'm the founder and principal of my agency, Real Estate. So I've been in real estate now approaching a decade, mainly based on the Central Coast, Lake Macquarie. With my business, we started things a little bit differently. So I've been in the industry for about a decade, and I was previously the general manager of another company. I was one of the directors of a different business. And I didn't like the direction that real estate was heading. A lot of the training that they do in real estate business is to justify commissions, justify fees, put people in a position where you're trained to handle their objection, that no matter what their situation is, the best solution is for them to sell. And I found with the fees increasing continually, the average fee in Australia now to sell a home is $38,000, not inclusive of marketing. It was starting to push people out to the point that a lot of my clients were like, I would sell and buy, but I can't afford to pay the commission and the stamp duty. Stamp duty is nothing that we can solve, but I thought there has to be a better solution on the real estate side.
Yeah.
I remember when I started in the industry, the average fee was about $9,500. And, it wasn't too bad. People could stomach it. It was sort of the average of about a month's wages for the average family.
Yeah.
Now the real estate fee being $38,000, it's half a year's salary for the average person. And to be honest with you, our jobs become easier. When we first started, there was a lot of manual labor, door to door. I remember my first principal still had a Rolodex of buyers. CRMs were just coming in. Realestate.com was just coming in. And now the average agent per listing spends 14 hours of active work.
Yeah, it's a big difference. I know your system, all right? And when I learned about it, when we had the first conversation, it was a bit of a shocking moment for me. And I'm going to ask the question. So the first question is, you saw the problem, okay, which is you explained that there was a problem with the real estate. We're not saying the real estates out there is the other problems, but there was a problem in the market. And then you come up with a solution, and which is impressive. And globally, you're the first one actually, you're actually doing this right now. Can you please tell us about your the way you're working? Because of what I know is you're working as a buyer's agent, you're working as a real estate agent, you're flipping, all right? That's another one. But if you can explain to us about your real estate, how your real estate works, how the percentages works, like if you can explain that, that'll be awesome.
Yeah. So globally, we're the first membership model real estate business. That's probably the easiest way to sort of explain us. And we wanted to create a solution that was an end-to-end real estate solution. So we can help people buy, help people sell. If they're doing flips, if they're doing property management, development, we can sort of help everybody. The way that it basically was invented was to help people be able to sell a home without having to pay anything in agent's fees. So people sign up, they pay a weekly fee. It's $10 a week. Once they've been a member for 2 years, their membership matures. Anything beyond that date, they can sell for free. We identified
for free,
for 0% commission, $0.
That was the shocking moment.
$0 in commissions. There's not a $12,000 administration fee that's thrown on top of marketing. It's zero. The only cost to owners is marketing. The reason we kept it that way is different properties require different levels of marketing.
Yep.
I would not market a luxury acreage the same way that I would market a 2-bedroom fiber asbestos demolition. They require different, whether we're doing auction, but also because real estate costs are very different everywhere.
Yeah.
If I'm putting a home on realestate.com in Asquith, it's a very different price if I'm putting on realestate.com in Cessnock.
Yeah.
Almost triple.
Yeah.
So that was the sort of problem that we found. So we're like, okay, owners can cover those costs. And when you think about it, it's like if you're going to the mechanic, you're covering your parts, we're covering your labor.
Yep.
And that was pretty much it. We identified that the average homeowner has to sell every 10 years due to major life events.
Yes. Yeah.
90% of sales occur from completely unforeseen, unplanned circumstances. Like I remember myself, I was living in a home and out of nowhere I had to have a bilateral hip replacement at 25. Couldn't walk up my own driveway anymore. All of a sudden, sell. Or a number of my clients, it'll be, we've got a little one. We've got another one on the way. We don't have enough space. They weren't planning on having a kid, but here they are. We now need more room.
Yeah.
My parents got sick. They've got to sell to be closer to me. Oh, we don't have enough room for them. Now we need to sell to buy something bigger. And that cycle just continues.
Yeah.
So with our membership, even if someone's been a member for 10 years, they're still paying a fraction of the cost that a traditional real estate would. And we still provide the exact same level of service.
Yeah. Because I can actually confidently ask some of the questions because of some of the answers, like majority of the answers actually I know. That's why it's so interesting. That's another reason we are doing this as well. Like when I go and I try to explain to other people, it's like, I know a real estate and he's a buyer's agent as well at the same time. And you're paying $10 for property and he's not actually charging you anything. It's like, it sound like a little bit crazy. So it's hard for me to explain. But like after this, when they watch it, they're going to understand that as well. That's why I'm going to ask some of the questions. So basically they're paying $10 per property, right? And I know some of the people they have like a 10 properties. Some of them have a 1 property. When it comes to the flippers, like how do you help them? So if we got to explain first of all for some of our the viewers is like what is flipping. So, and I'm pretty sure everybody watched that shows, but I just wanted to explain it. It's like flipping is for profit, buying, renovating, and selling your properties. And you are really good in that market. And I know firsthand you helped a lot of people, and you're still actually even right now, you're helping a lot of people to find the properties as well. So how do you help them?
Okay. So we're a little bit different from a buyer's agent. We are a buying advocate. So we basically provide advice to buyers to then go away and then they basically get support for due diligence. They get support for feasibilities. We can leave them to do the communication with the agent, or we can assist them in the communication with the agent. But essentially, we help them find deals, whether that's from a sourcing side of things. And that's because we have the experience in doing it and we do it day to day. We are much faster at being able to break down a deal to see if it's viable. Similar to yourself, you can quickly look at a property, you know the numbers, it takes you 5 minutes to look at something, and you can go, okay, that's going to be that. It's going to be about $158,000, and that'll do it. It might be 10% more, might be 10% less, but That's on average. So we know what to look at, and we're able to identify what areas make a good flip. Everybody has different budgets. Some people have 600 grand. Some people, like one of my clients, is like, Rhys, I'm looking for flips up to 3 million. They've all got different scopes, but also all of the flippers have different expertise.
Yep.
Some might be, I have no building ability, in which case I'm like, great, I've got a builder you can do a JV with. Or we can put you in touch with the trades that can do all of that. So we help them source it. We give them advice on how to negotiate with the agent. And depending on the agent, the way they will negotiate, whether they're going to do a best and final approach, or they might be quite easy to negotiate with. Unfortunately, a lot of agents operate in what their best interests are. So whether they prefer short settlement timelines and they'll push that more to the owner, whether we know that agent will push your offer higher if the offer comes from you because they believe they're getting the resale.
Yeah.
And so we sort of give them advice on what's going to be the best way to approach it, how to structure the offer with the right terms to make sure that we can get that across the line quickly, because flips require speed.
Yep.
Very, very rarely can you find a good flip sitting on the market for 4 weeks. It's a great flip. It's on the market. Buy it in a day. Get it secured under terms that suit both you and the owner. We then assist them with the feasibility. So we'll look at the floor plan and see where can we add equity. It's very rare now, at least that I've seen, that you can do a purely cosmetic renovation without changing bedrooms, bathrooms, or adding value, and then make a flip stack up, because renovation costs are so high. In and out costs, whether it's stamp duty or agent's fees, the costs are just so much that you need to manufacture equity by either adding a bedroom or a bathroom or a granny flat, a full extension if you want. And then what we provide is a very conservative feasibility report on how much that would actually cost them to do, as well as what is a conservative resale figure. So we usually go, this is going to cost 160. Let's work off 180. What if it cost you 180 to do it? Your market value is 135 on resale. What if we only get 13? Does the flip still make sense there? If it still makes sense when you're working on an ultra conservative resale and an overzealous or overestimate of your building feasibility, and you've still got 50 to 100K profit, that's a great flip. If the renovation comes in under, or you achieve a premium, all of a sudden your 50K is turned to 150, 200.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if you're no, basically, definitely it's different than the buyer's agent.
Yeah.
Right? We totally know that, but where you make your money?
Yeah, so we make our money based on the volume of the clients that we help. So we're approaching 1,600 members now.
Yeah.
And then with those, we had about 20 flippers. For our flippers, with our model, because they're selling and buying before their membership matures, they get free access to the buying advocacy. And then because they're selling in their first year and they are a member, most of our clients' properties end up being worth over $1 million. So our fee for our members, if their property is worth over $1 million, is 1.2%. And then our clients, we get a lot of repeat business, and then we make a lot of money, especially off the flippers, from volume. So say, for example, one of our clients this year alone, we've helped assist with 4 purchases, averaging under $150,000 of market value per purchase, with the average flip to be generating between $150,000 to $180,000 profit a flip. So for them, and that's based on the conservative numbers, for us, just on those 4 flips, only at 1.2%, we're still going to be making 70 grand off that one person doing 4 deals.
Well, one of the things I noticed with your system, and like personally, I gotta admit, like with you as well, a lot of, like, again, we are not criticizing anyone, but a lot of buyers agents is like, I gotta find a property. I'm just gonna find a property. I found the property. I am looking for to get my money. All right. Like with you, it's always like the numbers. The numbers has to stack up. And then as my background as a builder, like I know how your the feasibility is, how good it is as well. Like I've seen that in firsthand. Like, and by the way, we are not actually trying to sell his business in here, but like if we're talking about the actual facts.
Yeah.
And how many times Rhys actually sent me a quick message saying it's like, hi Eddie, I'm one of the flip is actually looking at this property. My estimation is around this much. What do you think? And I'm looking at the numbers like that's exactly what I would estimate as well. That's coming from the experience, right? And again, there was a problem in that area as well. Like the buyer's agents, unfortunately, they're not looking for the it's not about what they're looking for. It's they don't have an experience on the flipping side of it, and they don't know how to do the feasibility. So you come in, you saw the problem, you find a solution. That's why your business model is actually thriving right now. It's going really, really good. So I just wanted to talk about the flipping a little bit more, but I just wanted to ask you the questions about the current market right now. Like my view is a little bit, I don't know, it's like some people agree, some people don't. Yes, there is a crisis right now in the market. It's and then multiple reasons is like current changes happening with the capital gain, the war happening out there. It's like, but we've seen this kind of changes in the COVID time as well, which is we gone through that time as well, which is you have the experience on that during that time. I personally think this is just temporarily. I don't think the investors going to be scared of completely. It's about what do you think about it? What are you seeing right now?
Look, the market right now is funny. Some properties are taking longer to sell. Other properties are still selling very quickly. Right now, what we think is a lot of people that are paused because it's what the government's talking about what they might do. There's nothing actually that's been put in place that's concrete. The problem that we've seen with the changes they're proposing is it's not really going to affect your professional investors that are purchasing properties in companies, sub-companies, trusts using financial advisors, in which case, if you're flipping this is not financial advice, if you're flipping in a company held in a trust, you're not going to be at all affected by the capital gains changes because you're affected at a company rate. Whereas if you're doing everything in your personal name, most seasoned flippers, or I'd say property developers, by the time they've done one or two, they've already worked out, well, there's so many more advantages by doing it in either a company or a trust, depending on the structure. They're already doing that anyway. The people this is going to affect most is going to be your mum and dad investors that have one or two properties in their personal name. They don't have the breadth of knowledge that someone like you might have, or an agent that gets exposed to it a lot more. You don't know what you don't know. So they don't know that they can speak to a financial advisor and they might be best to set it up through a trust and they can mitigate tax and do all these other benefits. So they're the people that are getting stuck by foot in this bill. I personally think what's going to happen is going to be very similar to what happened in 86. They've made these changes once before and it had the complete opposite effect to what they were predicting. They removed negative gearing, and then all of a sudden investors went, well, we're going to stop building. So supply of new property dropped close to zero. Existing landlords went, well, I'm going to start increasing my rents. And, a lot of people will be like, oh, well, then I'll just move somewhere else. That's all well and good until everybody starts increasing their rents. There's nothing new coming, so you've got to live somewhere. Some investors will panic and sell, in which case an owner-occupier will buy it. So, well, there's one less rental property there. And when they did it in 86, the rents jumped by 33% in 6 months. So if that happens, it's going to be Armageddon again. And the real estate selling market jumped by 20% in 9 months. It was one of the most explosive growths we've seen in Australian real estate history, was from them making the exact change they're talking about doing now. And they still haven't come up with a solution to help with the supply side. They're literally just restricting supply while demands continue to increase.
We've been talking about that. Like I was in a seminar yesterday as well. I've been talking with the other people. Individually, they are actually trying to find the solutions like a modular modular builds. Well, when we start talking about the modular, it's not like a ordinary the boxy container homes. They've been doing that like a big hotels and luxury places. But they're facing again the same problems, which is like red tapes, like government's red tapes. So it is the problem we have right now is the supply. It's like, that we've been talking about that for years. And unfortunately, I guess by the looks like we're going to keep talking about it. So with your view is as long as there is, unfortunately, the supply issue is in there, market is always going to be
It might continue to grow.
Yeah.
But the Australian government was very clear. The Labor government put out a talk saying their plan was to slow real estate growth. They didn't want it to go backwards. They wanted to keep it growing. They just wanted to keep it growing at a lower rate. It's the biggest tax produce that Australia has. It makes up 30% of our GDP. They can't afford for it to go backwards because the country will bankrupt.
Yeah. If we keep going and talking about the flipping, and I guess like there's a lot of people out there, they really wanted to get into it. Either they, not only flipping is like investment side of it as well. And if the person have no experience, they have no idea about it. Like, what is the first step you think it should be? Like, where they should start?
Okay.
Like,
this depends a lot on the person. So if you're 20, you've got 40 grand in the bank because you've been working while you're a teenager and you've been saving and you're on a decent income, get in the market. Don't overcomplicate it. There's lots of solutions. You can buy with a friend. So, if you don't have a partner and you and your mate are looking at buying a property, do it together. You can both live in it and you can both get the same benefits from it, but just get in the market and secure something. So many times we see people like, I wish I bought 2 years ago or 4 years ago or 5 years ago. It's going to be the same people saying that in 5 years' time. Like, I wish I bought 5 years ago. That's never changed. I wish I bought 100 years ago. I could have bought 50,000 acres for £100. It's just not a thing. So get in the market. Now, if you're a little bit further on, and let's say you're a family, you've got a couple of kids, you've just got an inheritance and you're looking at buying, you're both on a decent wicket. The first place that I would actually go is, let's look at our goals. Do we want to buy something to live in, or do we want to start flipping? Do we want to start investing in property? Find a good financial advisor that actually understands property and tell them about your goals. Because my world was completely blown. I've got an exceptional financial advisor. All of our members get free access, by the way. And a lot of the things that they've educated me on, even though I've been in the industry and exposed to it for a long time, I've had no idea about, whether it's looking at doing debt recycling or setting up like actual debt recycling, not just live like you're poor. Or it's setting up a trust account because you've got kids that are turning 18 and there's effective ways to mitigate tax. Or you've got, let's say you, as a couple, you own 350 grand a year and you've saved up $150,000. Okay, you could just buy your principal place of residence, or you might buy a cheaper principal place of residence initially, hold it for 12 months, do some improvements on it. I've got an exceptional client. I won't mention his name for privacy reasons. He came to me 3 years ago, just gone through a messy separation, reset back to almost zero, had 30 grand in his name. And it was, I've got a big goal. He'd already been mortgage free and he'd basically gone back to nothing. Let her have the home, just wanted to get out and reset. In 3 years, we helped him buy a property dramatically under market value in Lake Macquarie. We sold it a year later for him for $200,000 more with $30,000 of improvement. We then helped him buy another property off another agent in the same area for $150,000 under market value by assisting him with a negotiation. We've just sold that one we bought it for $840,000. We just sold that for $1,075,000 in 13 months. And that was with $20,000 of renovation. And then we've helped him now purchase another property. This is going to be a large renovation. This is the first flip level renovation. This is going to be about $180,000 renovation. And then it's going to be worth about 1.3 conservatively. So once he sells that, we've achieved his goal. We're going to have about $700,000 in cash equity. We're going to look at buying him a family home for about $800,000 to $900,000. And he's going to be left with about $100,000, $200,000 mortgage and then time back with his kids.
So it's going back to the same thing then, like asking the right questions to the right people.
Yeah.
Like you just got to find the right people. It's like even if you find one person, that person is always have a good network and it's basically helping you with the right people. They have a progress. the brokers they have, the financial advisors they have, the accountants, which is like you can't do even just buying your first home. You can't do that without this circle. You have to find those people.
Yeah, like you can do it. The problem that I find is, especially in say the buyer's agent space, probably the most disgusted I've been with our industry is once I assisted with the buying advocacy, because I would see what some buyer's agents were charging, and to be honest with you, some of them are phenomenal. I've negotiated against buyer's agents, and I'm like, some of you guys are brilliant. Others, you will literally tell your client to pay so much over market value. I sort of feel guilty that I'm working and getting that for the vendor, because I'm like, I know that's not worth that, but they've paid you to do it and they are not doing you a good service. And unfortunately, sometimes some people have a fair bit of money, but they don't have time. They're putting their trust in somebody and they're not doing the right thing by them. In the flipping space, a lot of the buyer's agents that I've seen the numbers they've told our clients, like, oh, they'll get 1.5 for this. And I'm like, I'm looking at the resale. I'm like, where did you come up with this number? Like, there is no way, like maybe 1.3, like don't do this. You're going to lose money. The buyer's agent is incentivized to get you to buy.
Because they're not getting involved with the
They don't get involved in the sale.
Well.
If you lose money on it, it doesn't matter for them.
Yeah.
For us, we don't get paid when you purchase. If you're flipping with us, we only get paid once you sell and make profit. And if you don't make profit, we don't charge. So we've also never had a client not make profit on a flip, but it's in our best interest to make sure there is profit there. Otherwise, we get nothing, you get nothing, we lose repeat business. But the number of buyer's agents that I see, oh, I know it's going to be 180K renter. You know it's going to be 180K renter. They tell the buyer, oh, mate, you can get this all done for $120,000. And then the resale, it's like a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in the mid of the Central Coast. Every number says it's going to be 1.2 million. And then the buyer's agent's like, oh, you'll get 1.4 for this. They'll produce them a comparable market analysis and pull things across from East Batto Bay. I've seen buyer's agents. I had a client that was looking at buying a property in Killarney Vale recently.
Yeah.
The buyer's agent pulled a property comp from Blue Bay.
Okay.
And was like, this sold for 2 mil. Therefore, and I'm like, you might as well be comparing it to Hornsby. Like, they're that different markets. Like, yeah, sure, they're close, but they're not even similar. And it's unfortunately like pretty true in the real estate industry. Follow the incentive and then you'll sort of get your answer. But that being said, there are some buyer's agents that are exceptional. Like, I've been dealing with a really great one lately. We've still not done any business together because he's genuinely looking after his client's best interest. I'm pushing for the better price for my client. Sometimes it's not worth it. And then he knows I can get something better elsewhere. And then he knows where to shut down the deal and say, thanks very much, man. My offer's still going to be there, but we can find something better for our client. And there are others, and I've literally heard them tell me, oh, mate, they'll pay whatever I tell them to pay. What do we need to get this across the line? And my job is to keep pushing that number up and up and up. The vendors employed me to get them the best possible price. So until they tell me, nah, man, my client's out, that's what I'm going to do. I just don't know how you sleep at night except for maybe on a pile of cash.
Like, it's like we had so much, like so many actually personal experiences. We've seen people going through really hard times. All right. Like that's the main reason we started all this as well. There was a problem. I hope we're going to actually create the solutions as well. That's the whole idea. Like, but what you're proposing to people genuinely, okay, it's not just about, because of, I know you did so many deals with the people without even signing a contract with them, and then you genuinely started trying to help them. And like, we need more people like you. All right, like genuinely, I'm saying this. Like, we need more people like you. And then, personally, I my inner circle is like full with the people like you, and that's why I feel so secure. And then, what I recommend to others, people outside, either they're looking for their first property, they looking for a first investment property, or maybe they did many years, but like they're looking for something new. To get in touch with you, and then finding the right people around, like, and basically surround themselves with the right people, and it's just gonna make the life so much easier when you trust someone, genuinely trust someone, and they know they're doing the hard work for you. Because of finding a property it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like, especially in this market, it's not easy. And we've been talking about the supply issue, and I think we're going to keep talking about that supply issues. I don't think it's going to, anytime soon, it's going to be fixed. And then all we have is that old tired houses in the market, or unfortunately, it's renovated houses, but not up to the standards. That's my next question. When you go to the house, all right, so your client is asking for to find you a house, like that's going to be investment or something else. And then as soon as you walk in, it's like for many people, it's freshly renovated house. What do you look and where do you see the details? It's not actually done properly. And then how you warn your clients with that, because there is a lot of them out there now.
Yes. So, I mean, I refer to it as people that have slapped lipstick on a pig. And the general things that we look for is take your time to walk over the floor. You can feel that someone's not leveled the floor out properly and there's undulation in it. Look at the corners. You can see where people have done a really poor job doing the cornices, or in the bathroom, they've just tiled over the top of old tile. And even though that old tile wasn't waterproof properly, they've just gone straight over the top of it and found the cheapest solution.
Or just paint it.
Or just painted it. The biggest one that I would say is don't look at the big things. Like, don't look at the kitchens. Don't look at the bathrooms. Look at things like what's the door handle like? Has somebody bothered to go to the extent of getting new door handles? Have a look around the fascia. See if you can see any evidence of wood rot or little bits of damage that people actually haven't paid attention to. Good flippers, people that actually take pride in what they do, generally will repair and replace almost everything. Some things don't need replacing. Like, you're not going to spend money just for the sake of spending money. If there's an external door and it's in amazing condition and you can paint it or revitalize it and bring it back to life, do it. But if you see really undulating flooring and someone's like, oh, I'm just going to slap some engineered floorboard over the top and that's never going to have an issue ever again, and then you walk over it and then all of a sudden you hear creaking or you can feel the drop in the floor, that's going to make problems later on. When we're talking with people that are thinking of selling these flips, the way that we approach it for a client is buyers look at two things. They look at value that they've added, then they look at potential problems that they're going to have to fix later. Buyers will always overestimate the cost of a fix. Like, we know how much it costs to do flooring in a home. I'll talk to a buyer and like, oh man, it needs a new carpet. That's $20K. And I'm like, it's carpet and 2 rooms. That's not 20 grand. Like, I'll do the whole house for 20 grand. Or they'll see a little bit of wood rot and be like, oh, the whole fascia needs complete replacing. That's going to cost me $30,000. So when you don't do the little things and somebody picks up on the problems, then all of a sudden somebody thinks there's a lot more hidden issues, and then that's how you don't get a premium. So if you want to make sure you achieve a premium on a flip or you've found a good investment, look at the little details. If someone's generally looked after the little details, then they've done everything correct.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, we've seen really, really bad houses being renovated. So because, like, I'm constantly looking for a house. I'm constantly checking there. Whenever there is a new open house, it's just, even if I'm not on the market, just curiosity, I'll just go and have a look. And we've seen really, really bad ones. So, Rhys, what is the 3 things sellers thinks about your industry, but it's not true?
Okay. So I guess the first one would be that agents make a metric ton of money.
Because of those cars?
Yeah, because of the cars. Most of them are on leases. But look, you do have a very, very high top percent, like 0.5% of the industry that makes massive money.
Yeah.
The average agent doesn't. So if you break down the average commission, let's say it's 40 grand. On average, they're often on a debit credit system. So the business is already taking a percentage off the top of their commissions and they've got to hit a target before they make any money. Now let's assume they're on the highest paying one, which is like a commission only split, and they don't own the company. On 40 grand, they're going to be paying 50% straight away to the agency. Sorry, first take GST off. So you're down to 36. 50% goes to the business. Now you're down to 18 grand. If they have a team, You're going to have 20% will go to the buyer's agent. So now they're down to 14 grand. Then they've got all their insurances and everything like that. They actually have to pay out of it to be registered with the business. So your 14 will all of a sudden come down to 12 before they pay tax. On average in our industry, real estate commissions get taxed very heavily because the bank assumes you earn that weekly, which is not true for most agents. So then you're 12, all of a sudden you're down to about $7,200. So when an agent is telling you that they're going to push for the highest possible price for you because they get paid off the price you achieve, when you break a commission all the way down like that, if an agent gets you an extra $100,000 in their back pocket, they're left with about $200. A good agent will push for the highest possible price because that is what they do. Whether they are compensated well for it or not, whether they charge 3%, 2%, 1%, nothing. No matter what they charge, they are, at the end of the day, their commission is not really moving much, depending whether you get 50 grand more, 50 grand less. So I usually suggest to people, even though we've got a very low cost solution, choose an agent based on the fact that you trust them, you're confident in their ability to sell it, and their process, not just the promise of a price, not just a low fee, how they're going to make you the most money possible, and then list it with them.
I generally try to go to open houses. Like in your area, you're my agent anyway. But like if there is anywhere else, I go to the open houses and then look at them, like how they presenting the house. Like they're always around or just standing at the door and then just signing you in and saying a goodbye. Are they really around and answering your questions? Are they really trying to sell? That's probably a good sign to find a good real estate as well.
Well, we actually interview agents for some of our clients that sell interstate. So it's something that we do for our members for free. We're basically like, look, let me interview some agents for you, and then I can make you recommendations. So generally, first thing that we actually do is we inquire on random properties in the area. We want to see how quickly does the agent reply to the inquiry? Not just the auto generic reply like, oh, thank you for emailing us, we'll get back to you. How long does it take for them to get back to me? Do they call me? A good agent should be calling every single buyer that leaves a number. How else can you qualify them?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you should be calling them. When they call you, how do they sound? Are they upbeat? Can you ask them questions about the property? Do they know it? Like that was when I really got disappointed in my industry, when we were helping people and I was asking questions with agents about properties. And I'm talking agents that are senior in the industry. Like they've been in the industry longer than I've been alive. And I'm like, hey man, out of curiosity, do you know where the easements are on that one? Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, well, it's a vacant block of land. So I can see there's some bush nearby. Do you know what the BAL rating is? I had one agent go, I don't know what that is. And I was like, you're a class one, you own the business. How can you not know what a BAL rating is? So actually test your agent's knowledge a little bit. So best way to do that is inquire. Do they know things off the top of their head? If an agent tells you, oh, all of our business works as a team, we all sell each other's stuff. I've heard that many times. I've heard that from people that I used to work with. And then I'll be like, hey, can I sell your listing? And they're like, no. If they say that, call another agent in their team and ask randomly about somebody else's listing. Like, oh, they've told me that you all sell each other's stuff. Hey, John, I saw this place you guys have up the road on Ridge Street. I'm pretty interested. What do you know about that? Oh, I'm not the agent on that one. Oh, that's right. Do you know what price they want for it? I don't even know the owner circumstance. Oh, I'm not sure. The agent will have to get back to you.
Yeah.
They don't actually sell each other's stuff. They just say that.
One last question then. Okay, if you're young for this question, but I'm still gonna ask. If you say one thing about to young yourself, what would be?
I might be young, but I've had lots of things.
Yes.
So for reference, for people that are listening, 29, I've had 39 surgeries. I was on bed rest for 2 years. I'm a single dad. I've gone through a complex, messy breakup. I've got bilateral hip replacements. I'm an old man that was born recently. I would say that keep working, keep moving forward. Everything's going to work itself out. I remember when it was actually when I got into real estate. My first real estate principal, Chad and Paul, they were amazing. They gave me the opportunity, Wisebury, Gosford. When I got in the industry, I just had 26 pilonidal sinus surgeries and I'd just come off 6 months of bed rest. It cost me all the money that I had in my bank account. I had a negative pressure dressing that I had to wear a pack for that was hooked into my tailbone, and I had to stand and make calls and be plugged into the wall because the battery life only lasted 2 hours. And I couldn't sit while I was working because the tube literally went straight into my tailbone. So I had to stand all day. I worked with them for about 8 weeks, had great results, got a call from my doctor, it had all come back. So then I had to have a major Limburg flap surgery, and that put me on another 18 months of bed rest. It cost me another $50,000, so I went into a bit of debt. And to those guys' credit, they said, look, the moment you're ready to come back in the industry, you've got a job here. And as soon as I could walk again, I got a job there. I worked for them for a while. And then I had another opportunity come up with another amazing principal that taught me a lot. And then even though I'd gone into debt, even though I'd lost everything, I worked hard there. I was able to buy my first house. And then it all went wrong again. And then I had, a very messy separation. I was like, okay, cool. And that sort of brought me back down to square zero and then started building up again. And then all of a sudden I couldn't walk and I had to have 9 hip surgeries. And that's, $40,000, $120,000, $10,000 a surgery. Because just so everybody knows, if you've got private health insurance and you're under 35, you're not covered for a bilateral hip replacement.
Wow.
Unless I was in a car accident. But every little setback, you think it's going to be the end of your life. And you think, wow, this is the most difficult problem that I'm ever going to have. I don't know how I'm going to get past this. If you just keep working and you don't give up, within 6 months' time, every door opens. There's new solutions. All of a sudden, that problem's nothing anymore.
Yep.
And you can just keep moving forward. Life's never over. Just keep going.
It makes you stronger. Like it's, I gone through the same thing as well. Like I'm looking at 10 years ago, my problems were like, I don't even see them as a problem anymore. Like it was a big problems. And I couldn't even sleep for a night. And then it's just a one phone call to fix. But it's one thing is you did, I did, is we surround ourselves with the good people. So when you need a help, when you need someone, they're always in there. They always.
And also, when you're going through really hard times, talk to people and genuinely listen to what they've had go wrong in their life. I remember a great friend of mine, we actually met in the hospital. This was after all of my pilonidal sinus surgeries. I just had my Limburg flap, and she used to come in and chat with me. And I thought, I've got the worst luck ever. I don't life is bullshit. And then I was talking with this girl. She'd been in hospital since she was 15. She was on her 3rd failed heart, had cancer and inoperable aneurysms.
Wow.
And she'd come into my room and be like, oh, how'd you sleep? Because the alarms and stuff are going off all night. And you got the bright lights. I'm like, oh yeah, not too bad. Like, what about yourself? She's like, oh, pretty good. Like I only had a minor tremor in the night. And she was buzzing with life and was so happy. And there's things that she'd tell me that were happening. I'm like, they're horror stories. Like some of the surgeries that she's told me she's had and complications. And she would always be like, oh, how are you doing? And she was just so happy. And I was like, I have no right to complain. Like I'm going to be okay. And every day she didn't know if it was going to be a last. And she never complained. Things got hard and she just kept moving. So surround yourself and actually talk to people. Talk to your parents. Talk to your friends. Everybody, I can guarantee you, has been through something harder than you expect. And they've come out fine the other side.
Yeah. Rhys, thank you. Look, I really appreciate. All right. So we're going to leave your details. If anyone wants to reach out, Rhys, we're going to leave his details on the description. And if you want to say anything else.
Look, if you're thinking of buying, selling, doing some property management, or you just need some advice, give us a call. My agency, Real Estate, we're here to help. You have free advice to anybody that needs it. We just want to help you guys buy, sell real estate in the most stress-free way possible.
Thank you. Thanks so much.